With the 15th pick and with the 26th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Washington Redskins select Dwayne Haskins, Montez Sweat.
Welcome, all my fellow Redskin brethren and sister. I am your man and resident Redskins fan, Lou. Thank you for joining me here on the Redskins Report. Quick Redskins update. Redskins signed offensive tackle Corey Robinson yesterday. So we talked about Donald Penn being an option, and I told you I don't know if the Redskins are going to sign him or not. And you don't know what kind of shape he was in. You don't know what his workout looked like. You don't know what direction the Redskins wanted to go in. We do know they wanted to sign a tackle, and I listened to Jake Gruden talk at his press conference yesterday early in the morning, and he talked about the Redskins wanting to add a tackle. And we didn't know about Corey Robinson coming in. We knew about Donald Penn. That was the reported name. Now, again, Corey Robinson, Donald Penn, Corey Robinson, Donald Penn, in terms of name within league circles, Donald Penn's name is going to resonate and it's going to ring a bell with most NFL fans. Meanwhile, Corey Robinson not going to do as much in terms of moving the needle. So we didn't know about Robinson showing up and working out for the Redskins in addition to Donald Penn until yesterday when the media was able to meet with Jay Gruden and they were able to ask questions. And that's when we found out, Redskins had a couple of tackles come in. And they ultimately decided on the younger tackle in Corey Robinson, 7th-round draft pick of the Detroit Lions in 2015. Stayed with that roster for 2 years. Didn't play much in Detroit, was a backup option for them, and ultimately was traded to Carolina in 2018. Right before the season, they had some injuries along their offensive line, specifically at the tackle position. They needed depth. They traded for Robinson. He was cut 2 weeks later once they got a little bit of health along their offensive line. And so he ended up latching on with the Jacksonville Jaguars in November of 2018, staying there for the remainder of the season. They had injuries, as you could imagine. Most notably, their star left tackle got injured, and so they needed some depth along the offensive line at tackle. They signed him. He was on their roster until the end of 2018. He was let go at the end of the season. And so here he is on the streets. Redskins bring him in for a workout. Like what they saw, younger option, cheaper option. He's going to give the Redskins some depth. Again, he may not ultimately end up on the 53-man roster. It's a very, very big possibility because the Redskins, this is how they view the tackle position as it stands. They are hoping that Trent Williams comes back healthy, ready to rock and roll. They hope that Jerron Christian continues to develop and is their swing tackle. And then I think they feel good about the depth because a guy like, you cross your fingers and hope that he doesn't have to do this. But in worst case scenario on game day, Tony Bergstrom can play tackle. Now, you do not want to see that have to take place. Eric Flowers can play tackle. You do not want to see that take place. But these are guys that have played tackle in this league if need be, if called upon during the course of a game. You go into the game with that swing tackle like we used to with Ty Nsekhe as a guy on game day that can play both left and right tackle. And then you have some backups and guys that, if need be, you can shuffle around some pieces. Flowers can definitely play tackle. Again, we don't want to see that happen, but in a pinch, if you have to do some shuffling around, he can definitely go out there, play tackle, and then we'll put another guy in at guard. You could play musical chairs along the offensive line if need be. Bergstrom can go to center. Then you would move Rouillet to guard, and then you would kick Flowers out to left tackle. Again, these are all the different types of things you have to do when injuries beset you during the course of a game. But we're hoping that, hey, here's to knocking on wood, right? Here's to hoping that we don't have to experience that in 2019. But nonetheless, we don't know if Donald Penn didn't want to sign with the Redskins. Maybe the Redskins said, yeah, we're interested, Donald. You look good. You're in shape. We'd love to bring you on. Here's the role you're going to have. And maybe he's like, you know what? I don't like that role. Or maybe he said, you know what? I don't like the amount of money you're trying to pay me. I'm 36 years old. I'm going to need a lot more than that to come off of my couch. If you're not going to pay me adequately, I'll just sit at home and wait for another team to have some injuries and come calling, and they'll pay me what I'm looking for. So we don't know if the Redskins were interested in Penn, and he wasn't interested in the interest wasn't mutual in terms of they couldn't come to an agreement on money or role or fit. Or if the Redskins just said, you know what, we'd rather go with the cheaper, younger option. And yeah, he's in better shape. And, you know, he's a guy that we think we can develop. and maybe he can actually have a role on this football team. I don't really see that being the case. Honestly speaking, I look at Corey Robinson as a guy that's a Band-Aid right now on a position that just simply needs time to heal. So you put that Band-Aid on and you let that scab heal up, right? And you hope that Trent Williams comes back. You hope that, and Jerron Christian took some walkthrough snaps yesterday with the first team. So he's going to be back sooner rather than later. And you're hoping that he continues to develop. And if these things fall into place for you, if Jerron Christian turns out to be your new Ty Nsekhe, which is what the Redskins hope until he ultimately gets a chance to start. Because again, maybe Trent isn't the answer 3 years from now. Maybe Jerron Christian is. That's why they drafted him, to develop him and hopefully have him one day start, whether it be at left tackle, right tackle. They envision Jerron Christian being a tackle of the future for this football team. So you're looking for development from him. So if he develops the way that they want, Trent comes back, all of a sudden now you don't need a guy like Corey Robinson necessarily. So we'll see what happens. You just put this Band-Aid on the left tackle position with Corey Robinson. You let that scab heal up. Time heals all wounds. Hopefully Trent comes back. Jerron Christian continues to get work with the first team. He stays healthy and he gets some experience. And all of a sudden now the depth doesn't look as bad as it did, say, 2 weeks ago. So right now, I look at this signing because a lot of you were getting excited about Donald Penn, and I told you to pump the brakes. I told you, you don't know if the Redskins are even going to sign him or if he even wants to sign with us. And ultimately, the Redskins went in a different direction. We'll see what it means. I honestly don't think this means a lot, and I don't think Corey Robinson, if all things go the way the Redskins want them to go. Now, again, there's a lot of time between now and, let's say, September 1st. A lot of things could transpire. Trent could not come back, all right? The Redskins could not like what they see out of Jerron Christian throughout camp. Eric Flowers is an epic disaster and fail at tackle as well, and all of a sudden a guy like Corey Robinson becomes a necessity. Or the issue, the situation I posed at the top, which is Trent comes back, he's healthy, ready to rock and roll, in good spirits, and you get Jerron Christian getting first team reps while Trent is out, and he starts to develop, and you like what you see out of him, and all of a sudden you feel really good about tackle and backup swing tackle position, and all of a sudden a guy like Corey Robinson isn't necessary right now. You got him on speed dial. He was with you all camp. You know what he's capable of. If he's on the streets, something happens, you can pick up the phone and call him immediately. But I don't think he's going to ultimately be the answer at tackle for us. So a lot of you were getting excited about Donald Penn. I told you, look, I'm not excited about a 36-year-old. It tells me that they don't love what they see out on the field right now, but injuries have a large part in that because Jerron Christian wasn't able to suit up early on. They just need bodies. And to me, Corey Robinson is nothing more than a body. So I wouldn't get excited about him right now. Obviously, there's a lot of camp left. We still don't know what's going to happen with the Trent situation. We still don't know what Jerron Christian looks like on the football field, really. And so there's a lot of questions to be answered. Right now, as I mentioned, and that's the way I'm looking at it, he's a Band-Aid, all right? And we're just looking for time to heal the wound of left tackle. If time is very kind to us, Trent comes back, Jerron Christian develops, then we can pull that Corey Robinson Band-Aid off, throw it in the trash, and keep it moving. If time isn't kind to that wound, and we keep hitting that left tackle wound, and all of a sudden it's not healing properly, Trent doesn't come back, Jerron Christian re-aggravates something, knock on wood, or he just isn't looking the way the Redskins need him to look in order to have the confidence to have him be inserted as a starter for the Redskins, then maybe you need that Corey Robinson Band-Aid to stay on a little bit longer. So we'll see what happens. I don't think this is a major signing, but it was a signing nonetheless, one that I felt we needed to discuss. And so the Redskins add veteran offensive lineman Corey Robinson, a guy that has been a journeyman, has been with 3 NFL teams in just a little under 3 years. So not a lot of experience for Corey Robinson. Only 9 career starts for him. So you're getting a guy that's a relative newbie in terms of playing time. So he fits right into what we have at tackle already. A bunch of guys with not a lot of experience. If you're talking Jerron Christian and some of the other guys we've tried to work in at tackle, we don't want to see Eric Flowers at tackle. I think that the organization and the staff has pretty much told you that by looking elsewhere. If they felt confident in Eric Flowers' ability to play tackle with Jerron Christian on the mend, then you don't do this. You've got other guys that are on the tackle right now, or excuse me, on the roster right now that aren't going to make the team, but could give you snaps at tackle if you felt confident in Eric Flowers' ability to play tackle. They don't, and they shouldn't. And so you look at all of the factors, and I think it leads to the Redskins making this move to sign Corey Robinson. I don't think it's a long-term move. I think it's a short-term solution, but we will see. I am a Redskins fan, etched in burgundy and gold. My Redskins spirit will never die. Redskins spirit will never fold. Until we meet again, hail to our beloved Washington Redskins. We'll chop it up next week. Got a lot of content coming. As you can see, we're starting to rev it up. We're revving it up. And so, season's getting underway. Before you know it, as somebody said in the comment section, it'll be August 8th, which means it's time for preseason football. So, we got a lot to discuss between now and then. You'll see this face all up in your space continuously, especially if the Redskins continue to make moves and things happen at camp that needs to be discussed. In any event, I'm your man Louie T, signing off. Until next time, you guys have a good one.